Hey Bold Dreamers, happy Friday, it's Kara, and I'm just wondering, how many of you have ever had a conversation where you have worked so hard to do all these things right, and in fact you've done 99 things right, but the person you're conversing with is focused on the one thing that you did wrong? I know that I've been in conversations like that, and the question tonight is, would you rather be criticized or would you rather be praised? And I feel like the answer is easy, right? We'd all rather be praised. In fact, doctors have said that when we engage in praise, in giving praise or receiving praise, it changes us on a physical level. It expands our cells in their strength, in their capacity, and even in their intelligence. So we know that there are physical effects to being involved with praise, but tonight I want to really focus on the non-physical effects and benefits, hey Pam, and benefits of praise. And I want to talk to you about the law of praise. Raymond Holliwell in his book Working with the Law says that at the core level, the law of praise, or the law of gratitude if you will, is this, that what we praise grows. What you praise grows. And when we are focused on being actively involved in giving and receiving praise, things start to change for us, not just on a physical level, but also on a non-physical level. So tonight I want to talk to you about 3 non-physical benefits. And when we're involved with praise, it changes our perspective, it changes our pattern, and it changes our present. Perspective, pattern, and present. So it changes our perspective. When we're involved with praise, we're no longer focused on failures, on shortcomings, on lack, on limitation, on all the things that are wrong and all the mistakes that have been made, that we've made, that others have made. Instead, it shifts our perspective and we're focused on accomplishments. We're focused on abundance, on growth, on goodness, and on beauty. And I just want to invite you to take a look at your own life. Like, where do you need a perspective change? Where have you been focused on shortcomings, maybe yourselves or others, and how can you apply the law of praise to help change your perspective? So the first thing it changes is our perspective. The second thing it changes is our pattern. And what I mean by pattern is really our pattern of energy, or our vibration, if you will. Holliwell says that when we focus on praise, it lifts our consciousness. It expands and opens our mind. We're able to tap into new ideas or new realms of thought. We're being sourced. And what happens is that we get new results because we're willing to be open to these new streams of consciousness through the law of praise. If you think about it, when you praise a kid, their energy totally changes. They start glowing. In fact, several times I've been called to the office right before a class has started, and when I come back to the gym, if the kids are left by themselves, there are 24 kids climbing off the walls and running around and jumping off the stage and playing tag and screaming. And when I'm conscious enough to focus on praise, if I can find the one student who is doing exactly what I want them to be doing, and I say, hey Mason, thank you so much for sitting so nicely and respectfully. I see you're ready to listen and ready to learn and ready to play. Let's get started. All of a sudden the other 24 kids are like, sitting straight up in their seat, and like, what about me? Aren't you going to praise me also? But praise is contagious. And what I've noticed with praise is that, you can criticize people and get the same results. But when you criticize people, they do it because they're being made to do it. But when you praise them, they want to. They want to show up better. They want to sit respectfully. They want to get ready to listen. They want to show up with their A game for you. So praise changes our pattern. It changes our energy. And whether you're a dog that's getting praised and wiggling and waggling, or a kid that's glowing, or an adult that is being praised or engaging in praise, they radiate. It changes our pattern of energy. It changes our vibration. And the third thing that praise does, when we focus on praise, it changes our present. Holliwell tells 2 really great stories, and he says that whether it's animate or inanimate things, praise can affect them. He said, he tells a story about a man that's driving along and he hears this big loud clunk in his car. But he has to get home, so he just starts praising his car and praising his car. He drives over 30 miles home, parks the car, gets home safely, and later that night he goes out to move the car, and he can't move because the car actually had a broken axle. But by praising it, he was able to drive that car home. He tells the story of the widow with a mite, and She comes to church and isn't sure how she's going to be able to keep her house. But she stays in the law of praise. And when she goes home, things actually seem worse. When she goes home, she notices that her pipes are bursting. So she has to call a plumber. And she doesn't know how she's going to pay the plumber. But she stays in the law of praise. So the plumber comes. He sees that her pipes are bursting. He has to work and pull up some of the floorboards. And as he's pulling up the floorboards, he discovers a jar of money that her husband had hidden. In that jar was more than enough money to pay not only for the plumber, but to pay for the house. Praise changes things. Holliwell said that if we can be conscious and, in effect, focus on praise in our darkest hours, it will invariably force the sunshine out. Force the sunshine out when we focus on praise in our darkest hours. So I want to invite you to focus on praise. Take a look at your own life. Where are those circumstances? Where are those people? Where are those situations? Maybe it's with yourself where you've been focused on other areas, where you've been focused on complaining and focused on fear and focused on, criticisms of people. And how can you shift that focus this week to focus on praise? I think we've all accidentally tapped into the law of praise, but I want to invite you this week to be deliberate about it, to be intentional about it. And when you think about these 4 areas, when you think about either your health or your relationships or your finances or your work, how can you deliberately tap into the law of praise? And as you look at your life, I want to invite you to pick one of those areas. And if you're committed to work on the law of praise and on focusing on praise this week, just go ahead and drop it into the chat below. I know I'm going to do that as well. So remember, praise grows things. When you praise things, whatever you're praising will grow. So focus on praise this week. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care. See ya.